Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Victoria's out on a mission trip, so I will be covering all of the information today that we will be discussing on the social media platforms. We're going to talk a lot about the specifics of social media ads and all of the value that they can provide when you are utilizing them with your organic social media campaigns. If you would type in and let us know who is watching and what school you're with, that would be great. And I'll wait just a couple of minutes to allow folks to tune in. Since we'll be going through the presentation, and you will be viewing the slides from start to finish, you can, if you have any questions, go ahead and write them down. I will get to all of those when we wrap the slides presentation portion of the social media ads shared today. In the last webinar, which I hope all of you had a chance to watch, if you were unable to watch in person, we did discuss different social media campaigns and ideas to use social media ads and different topical calendars and focus of what you were doing in each of those campaigns and how they can pertain and portray what you're working on with your schools and in all that you're doing. So we will go ahead and get started with the slide presentation. Let me just get this up and running for you all. And here we go. All right. So again, we're focusing on social media ads today. We'll be focusing much of the portion of this on Facebook ads, but we'll talk about Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram toward the end, so we can go through all of those with you as well. So social media ads are a really important piece of your social media campaign. Like we talked about before, you want to be able to develop a strategy with the social media posts and engagement and the all of the content that you're using to share what's happening within your school and within your community. So that is your strategy, and the social media ads are definitely a way to enhance and leverage the strategy that you have with your organic content. It's important to make these ads a part of your overall strategy and to integrate into what you are doing and posting on a daily basis. So today we'll talk about the types of social media ads that there are. We'll also talk about some different ad tips that you can take into consideration. And now let's get rolling. So the first thing that you want to think about when creating ads are what campaign objectives you have. Facebook ads are designed to help achieve one of three major types of campaign objectives. So the ones that you really would like to focus on will include awareness, consideration, or conversion. So every time you see a commercial on TV, for example, they're typically on the air for different reasons. They either want you to go out and buy something, they're trying to increase their brand awareness, or they're trying to tug at the emotional heartstrings. And when you have involvement with that entity in the future, they want you to think about them in a particular way. So first and foremost, when you are creating these Facebook ads, you want to determine what purpose you're using them for. So if it is for the first one, which is the awareness objective, you're thinking about building brand awareness. Depending upon who your audience is, you want them to know who you are, be familiar with you. If it's not maybe a potential prospect or a parent of a future student or current student, maybe it's a community leader. Maybe it's someone that you want to be involved with the future homecoming court or something that your school is participating in, perhaps a fundraiser. The awareness objective focuses much more on just ensuring that people know who you are and what you provide, and not necessarily having that very specific call to action. So you don't care so much in this area about converting them, just want them to know of your existence and what you do and why. An example ad of that type of nature may just be the fact that you're promoting the school's first day, or you're promoting a school event that's happening that doesn't necessarily need outside participation, but just that the event's going on, and maybe it's a way that people can learn more about how they may be involved in the future, just knowing what you do and what you're about. The consideration objective is more about sending traffic, increasing engagement, encouraging different types of installs, for example, an app or an application install, lead generation, and messenger encouragement, which essentially means that within the Facebook Messenger that you want people to reach out and connect with you. The consideration objective allows people to think on a deeper context about who you are, what you're doing, and really begins to engage them. You want to connect with these folks. You want to know, start having a conversation with them, really be able to see more of this traffic, walk through your door, or again, connect with you in conversation, and just making sure that they're seeing a different side, a different level, why they need to be connected with you, and then really get them thinking about how they can. So having them reach out. The conversion objective is much more about that final call to action. So what are you trying to achieve with conversion? Perhaps it's making a donation. Perhaps it's signing up a student to enroll. Perhaps it's volunteering for a school effort. We talked about this a lot in the last presentation about thinking about your audience and ensuring that you're focusing on the right area. So if it is a specific audience that you're trying to reach, you want to consider that in supplement and in alignment with the 3 objectives. So if it's maybe the parents or grandparents of students, you probably are going to be focusing, you may focus an ad in the consideration objective where you're wanting them to do more, increase the engagement on the ad, and have them start asking questions or learning more about you. I'm just going to pause for one moment because I'm afraid that the screen isn't sharing. If anyone's having trouble seeing the screen, if you would just comment and let me know. I'm trying to fix that right now. Okay, let me see if I can fix that for you. There we go. All set? Can everyone see that now? Okay, great. Get that to full screen and we'll carry on. So again, we were talking about the audience consideration, and we just want to think about what the audience is going to be learning and how you want them to engage and interact. So make sure that your objectives are aligning with your audience. Now we're going to discuss the different types of ads. So the first one is a photo ad. When you log into Facebook, and this is certainly something that we can send screenshots for you so that you have a better understanding of exactly the steps that you're going to need to take when you set up your ads. But when you are first logging into the ads manager, you're going to have the option of what type of ad to select. So the first one's a photo ad. The photo ad includes just one single image, and you can include a headline as well as the link description. So you want to pick something that is relevant and showcases the what it is that you're talking about in the text and will really make them click on that link. So while the single image ads are a little bit more appealing because you're able to pick that one image that will really draw them in. They also are slightly limiting in nature because that's your one chance to get them with your very small content that will be 125 characters. That may be something like 2 lines of content. You want to be clever with the link description so that you can also include a call to action if it's something that you're wanting them to click on, whether it's like a enroll your child now or donate now or support us, those kind of things. Those are 3 different ways that you can get folks to click, or maybe if it's just something as simple as learn more, if you're going for more of an awareness objective. Those are all different things that you can include in that link description. So with the types of ads, again, something we talked a little bit about before, you want to find a photo that engages, that draws the eyes in, and that's really appealing and sticks out. There's a lot of different images and content and bulk and junk that people are filing through whenever they're looking at the Facebook stream or Twitter, Instagram, whatever platform they're on. So you want to really find something that's going to jump out at them. Some of the best things to include are pictures of kiddos and babies, pictures of animals, and then pictures that are front facing as well, when it's almost like the person's looking into their eyes, or the dog or cat maybe looking into their eyes, something that connects the social media user with whatever the photo is. So generally, while scenery pictures are lovely, and maybe group photos are good ones, you want something that's really going to directly connect and make someone stop and look or learn, or be mesmerized, whatever the case may be. You want them to be able to really connect with that photo, because research has definitely indicated that it's the visual image that pulls people in first and foremost before any type of content. The next type of ad is a video ad. So these types of ad options are short form ads, like the ones that you will see at the beginning and end of a commercial break on TV. They may be something as short as like 10 or 15 seconds. You can also have something as long as the very long term, the 240-minute promoted videos that are designed to be watched on the desktop. While we don't recommend something that's necessarily that long, these are different options. The timing research has shown that the 10 to 30-second videos are the ones that are most watched and most engaging. And certainly that's within the ad space. So if you're doing something like a Facebook live stream, or if you've created a YouTube video that you want folks to watch, those types of videos should be a little bit longer in nature, because you're wanting to teach or educate or entertain. But for the ads, just think about the ones that you watch or the ones that you listen to when you are online, or when you're watching TV, or when you're listening to the radio. Those ads that are a little bit shorter, your attention spans are short. So if you're wanting folks to not click away or not scroll on by, then it's best to have those in a little bit shorter form. The video ads are really successful, and that they are ones that draw people's eyes in because of the movement. Again, there's a lot of research behind that as well, but just showing that the eye-catching elements of videos pull people in more than just the static image. So you want to make sure with the video that you have specific goals in mind, as with all of your ads, but really you want to know who the target market is here and where your video will reach them. Some of the different analytics that can be shown when you are putting together ads are how long people actually watch the ad. So you can experiment with that and maybe do a 10-second video, perhaps a 30-second video, to just compare the two. When you look at those analytics after the ad has been running for typically 5 to 7 days is a good initial experimentation time to see if it's working or not. But you can compare the 10-second to the 30-second to see how long people are watching the video, if they're watching it in its totality. If you have maybe like a 60-second video running, if everyone's clicking away after the first 20 seconds, either reconsider the content, something that's a little bit more appealing and inviting and engaging, or reconsider the length of the video. So if it's something that perhaps you have posted into 60 seconds, see if you can consolidate the content, shorten it up, and make it just about 30 seconds. So if you're telling more of a story in the video ad, maybe if it's something like a donor or fundraiser appeal, that's something that could be a little longer. The typical news story is about 90 seconds long. So if you're sharing a story, or if you're having an alum share a story, or you yourself as the principal are sharing a story, perhaps a student is sharing a story within these video ads. Those are some that can be a little bit longer, as long as there's no dead air and you're really keeping the story going and keeping people engaged. So you'll see in the sample on this slide that you're still going to include the description, the link description there on the bottom left. On the bottom right, you have a button, and you actually get to select what that button will say. There are about 8 different options. So one is book now, there's learn more, there's get info. So you'll just want to scroll through and select the option that works best for you and that makes the most sense with whatever you're trying to promote. And then at the top, you'll see that you're able to, it'll say sponsored, so that's how people know that it's an ad. However, because of that's smaller and grayed out, it fits right into the natural progression of someone's news feed on Facebook or Instagram, and especially on Twitter, because that's mostly text and content. But you'll be able to use the same 125 characters. You'll see it's just those about 2.5 short lines. So you really want to select a message that's going to pop and allow people to understand what the video is going to be about. It's basically you can either include a call to action there, or you can include a short synopsis of the video so they know what to expect. So those are the video ads. Any questions on those? I'll go ahead and take any questions now, either on video ads or the single image ads if you have them. Okay. The next type of ads are the carousel ads. The carousel ad lets you include up to 10 images or videos, and they each get their own link. So this is a really great, interactive, engaging way to allow people to see a lot of different elements of what you're trying to promote. A really cool thing that you could use the carousel ads for, or any event that you want the community to be involved in, to participate, whether it's by giving of their time, giving of their money, attending, supporting in different ways that you may have available. The carousel ads just show a really good variety and diversity upon what you're trying to share. They work well to showcase the different features of, they could be a product, they could be apparel from the school, or to explain a step-by-step process. If you're trying to get someone to sign up for something and it may be a little bit more intricate in nature, you can include almost like screenshots of the different ways that people will get through that process. As you can see here, the one to the opposite side of the screen is showing how to make a cake. So that's a really clever way to do that with the different carousel ads, and you just scroll through the different sections and selections, and they basically like a how-to. It's a good way to present. Perhaps you want to announce teachers of the year or students of the month, something like that, where it may be more of like a brand awareness campaign, and you're showcasing students who have excelled or gone above and beyond. You can do that with carousel ads. And it's really neat because if you can keeping the attention span. But if you have 10 videos that you want to showcase of 10 different students or faculty or staff, you can do that too, kind of a showcase of the faces of your school. Maybe a good way to use that for actually any one of the objectives, whether it's awareness, consideration, or conversion. If you want people to know who you are, that's a great way to showcase it. If you want people engaging, something like the I'm a Catholic school kid campaign. We could do that with an ad if we're wanting more people to get involved and showcase that they are that they did go through the Catholic school system, or the conversion objective. So if you're trying to get someone to buy into something or promote or support or donate, that's something that you could do, whether you're showing how to do that, or you're just showing the impact that they're having. So maybe showing how kids are supported when these donations are given by the school, or how an event may be supported. So those are the carousel ads. I'm going to keep talking through the different types of ads, but certainly feel free. I have the comment section pulled up, so certainly feel free to throw in your questions as you have them, and I'll do my best to interject with the answers. The next is the slideshow ad. It's an ad that creates video from several static images, whether it's your own or stock images that Facebook provides. So there is an option within Facebook that you can select all free stock images. The really good thing about this is that Facebook has plenty of experience in knowing what pictures do well. So pretty much any of those stock images that will appear when you're putting this type of ad together are going to be those that are appealing and draw in the eyes and really engage and interact with the whatever research has been done to show that they're successful in pulling in audience members and social media users. So the slideshows offer compelling motion and video, but they don't require any specific video resources. You don't have to do a thing. I actually just made a slideshow ad yesterday, and if you're pulling different pictures that you have from perhaps any event or a school function, then you can use this slideshow, and it basically edits the video for you. So you don't really have to have any technological bone in your body. You just have to be able to upload some photos, and it puts all of the editing together for you, and you're able to add music. You get to pick which music you're using. And then again, you'll see, like in the example on this page, there is the image. That's the image with the bus is the first image of that slideshow, and it follows into 9 more photos that you can include, but shows in the form of a video. So in this one, Red Bull, they elected to include a link in the top portion, which is really a call to action type of campaign. And then they just labeled the video on the bottom. Again, you can use both that label or the title to be a different form of call to action, or it can just be showcasing what the ad or piece is about. On the collection ads, that highlights products into the Facebook feed. So the ad includes a cover photo or a video in addition to different product images with pricing, other details, lets people know more about the product, and they don't have to leave Facebook. So this idea of collection ads really can be compared to the initial advertising on any website. So when advertising was first starting online, people began integrating specific pieces of the ads onto the website rather than sending someone away, sending them to the phone to make a call, sending them somewhere else. They began putting all of the content online so that they could figure out and know everything about the product or service or company or school in your case. So that it made it easier. It makes it more accessible. It makes it more convenient for them. And your link is right there. So everything they need to know and do is all inclusive within that collection ad. So as you can see in this example, while you may not be able to translate that, they show a really engaging and fun cover photo, which you could include. Again, a really good one to showcase would be some students' faces looking very excited and happy, just like this couple is. And then showcasing the offer or showcasing this is what the event will include. So maybe if you're having a type of fundraiser, you can show the different elements, whether there's going to be live music, different entertainment, different types of food, a celebrity guest, something like that. Those are all of the different photos that could go in the additional supplemental images that you see at the bottom. Messenger ads are a little bit different. These are a really good way, the best way, in fact, to start a conversation. As you know, or may or may not know, on Facebook and your Messenger chat, there are two different, if you have it on your phone, you may have the Facebook app and you may also have the Facebook Messenger app, which is where you get any kind of private message. So these ads are not being showcased publicly on streams or feeds. They're going right to the inbox, basically the email version of Facebook. So as you can see in this example, it's a little bit more blatant. However, because it's including, free shipping on any purchase, what the clothing is, it's obviously asking you to shop, but you'll see at the top and bottom of that, of those messages, it includes actual conversations that person is receiving or having. There are different ways that you can do this. You may get Facebook Messenger ads as just plain text, or you may get it with an image and a little bit more information. But you basically are encouraging people to connect with the business on Messenger. And then you have that link there, whether it's clicking on the image or clicking on, for example, in this one, the Shop Now link. You have that available so that they can click out of that message, or they may be able to reply to the message and start a conversation with your page. There are a lot of different ways that you can use this, whether you're trying to specifically target parents at your school, or if you're trying to reach out to different prospects, maybe community leaders. You'll just have to select which audience you want to reach the most with these. And it's probably going to be one that you want to carry on a conversation with, because that's the end objective in this type of ad, is that they will either click on that link or respond so that you can carry on a conversation. Now we're going to go through some of the social media ad tips. So the first is to know what business objective you're trying to achieve. Within this realm, you're going to have a lot of options when you're first selecting that information. It's the first question they ask when you begin setting up your Facebook ads. Whether you want traffic, whether you want increased impressions, increased engagement, whether you want to be conversing with people, whether you want lead generation, There are many, many different examples. Again, I'm going to make a note right now to send screenshots of the step-by-step process so that you have those. And we're happy to answer specific questions as you're walking through that or trying to create an ad if you have them. But you want to think about what's most important for your ad, because whatever you select, that is what Facebook will then use the monetary value that you pick to achieve. So if it's more important for you to have people visiting your website or going to an event page, something like that, then don't pick increased impressions or brand awareness, because all that's going to do is just show as many people as possible. It won't necessarily engage as many people as possible. The second piece is knowing your target audience. We've talked a little bit about this, but it really is significant. You shouldn't limit it so much so that it's like one age year. So don't pick like 35-year-old male who lives in this specific zip code. You should pick perhaps an age range from 25 to 34 if you're aiming for the younger parent. You can select people in one zip code. So if you want to pick a zip code that is within your schools or the zip code that's closest to your school, or you can pick a couple of them. You can also elect to do a city in and of itself, or a city plus 10 miles. So the 10-mile radius around the city. You can do all the way up to plus 50 miles outside of a city range. So there really is a good variance, depending on if you're wanting to hit citywide or just that zip code which the school is in. That's going to make a difference in which one of those that you pick. You also really want to think unless you feel like the decision maker will be predominantly male or predominantly female, it's probably best to pick both male and female within those target audiences. And then just think about the age audience that you want to reach. If it's prospective parents, you probably have a good database of information on what the common age ranges of that. So keep those things in mind. You can also include interests in that target audience. So if it's some people list their religion on their Facebook account, so that information can be pulled. You can also, if it's someone who like Mom's Day Out type of programs, or there are all different kinds of interests. Any interests you can imagine that someone has, that's something that you can target within your Facebook ads. Number 3 is let your organic posts inform your ads. So really, when you are posting organically and putting up your content that you have from your topical calendars and your daily happenings at the school, you have the opportunity to look within your analytics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and figure out who engages most with those organic posts. So you can use that information, knowing what type of audience demographic you have and who is most interested in the posts and content that you're already sharing. Use that target audience. Maybe, like I was talking about earlier, you're testing one against one type of objective against the other, or one type of end goal with your ads against the other. You can also do that with the target audiences, and you can look at, it's called a lookalike audience. A lookalike audience. It's one example that you can use for creating a target audience on Facebook. So you can create one of those and then create one maybe that's slightly different than that audience. You don't want to create an audience that's exactly the same and that has the exact same content, or when you're creating an ad that has the exact same content. So for example, you don't want like 25 to 34 male and female in one zip code and then do like a 26 to 35 age demographic and keep everything else the same, because you're basically competing for that dollar, because every click costs money. So you want to, a better example would be to do like 25 to 34 age demographic. You can have male and female, you can have just that zip code, and then do like a 35 to 44 age demographic if you're trying to, again, experiment with those ads and see which one will work better for you. The fourth specific tip is to pay for what matters, so impressions or engagement. Talked a little bit about that, but impressions essentially means how many people are seeing the ad. This does not mean that they engage with it in any capacity. It may just be on their screen. Sometimes, when you're reading a news article, there's an ad that's right in the middle of that article, and you may scroll right past it. You may not pay a lick of attention to it. So, but that's an impression. So that would count as one impression if you scroll right by it and don't pay any attention to it. The cost per impression is usually a lot cheaper, just because all you're trying to do is get it onto the screen or page. The engagements are a little bit different, and it depends on how successful the ad is. So engagement may be like a cost per click. So anytime anyone clicks on your ad, anytime someone comments or likes, it just depends on what the goal of your ad is. So you really want to make sure that you're selecting the end goal that you want. So if it is impressions and you just want as many people to see it as possible, you're going to select for that, and it's going to be a pretty inexpensive cost per or expense per impression. For engagements, it'll just vary dependent upon how successful the ad is in engaging someone. Number 5 is to design your ads with mobile in mind. There are 88% of all ads, of all media that is consumed is done so on mobile. So that's something that you really want to think about, and you want everything to be mobile friendly, whether it's if you're sending someone from your ad on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram to your website, you want that website or a web page that you're sending them to be mobile friendly. You would like to make sure that the ad and the size of the image in and of itself is mobile friendly as well and fits nicely into that piece. The good thing about Facebook is that when you select an image, you can crop or resize it to fit accordingly. And then Facebook actually just integrates it into either mobile or desktop mode, but you still want that image to be size appropriate. So really think about the way that you look at things when you're consuming media or information on your phone, and how that differs from when you are on a desktop and just the different way it may appear. Something that's efficient and convenient, and something that can be easily engaged with. Number 6 is to test your ads to optimize performance. So I talked about 5 to 7 days being a good experimentation period. If you see that no engagement at all or no impressions are taking place in the first 3 days, then it's probably a good idea to go ahead and move away from that ad, shut it down and start a new one and try again. If it's maybe just a slow uptick and you see some engagement, some impressions, some link clicks, then 3 days might not be long enough. You may want to extend it to that 5 or 7 to see if there is any success with the ad that you've created. But you do want to test them. Don't leave something running for a month and not look at it. You can look at it every day, every hour. You probably shouldn't look at it every hour because you probably have better things to do with your time than that. but make sure that you're going back and checking on it to make sure that results are happening. And when they're not, change some things. You can either change, if it's going really well and you want to see even more results, you can change your budget, or you can copy that ad and do something that's almost exactly similar, but just for a different age group if you're wanting to try that out as well. But just make sure you're testing. Don't just put it up and let it run and never check on it again until a month or 2 or 4 passes by. And then measure results. So you want to see what's working and how. Another reason that it's really good to compare ads or to do a few different sets of ads is because those results will vary. You might think it's really good to have an ad that is performing at 10 cents per click, but then you might create another ad that is having a performance of like 2 cents a click, which if that doesn't translate to you, it just basically means for every 100 people that see it, you're going to get that engagement of 90% of them or 98%. So if you can get that 98% engagement, you want to have that as opposed to the 90%, even though 90% is good. You'd rather be paying less for the ad to do more. So that's why you need to test those ads and also measure the results. You can measure them in a lot of different ways. So whether it's you running the ad and then needing to present the results to someone else, or you're running the ad and looking at the results for your own understanding. You want to make sure that it's achieving what you wanted to achieve. So maybe there are a lot of eyeballs on it, no one's clicking on it, and you wanted the clicks to happen, then you're going to need to change something within the capacity of that ad. So those are 7 key tips. There are many more, but we'll carry on to the navigating the different social platform ads. So when we're thinking about all of the different types of social media, you really do speak a different language on each of the different platforms. For if you use Twitter, some people, they really stick to one specific platform and use that one as much as they can and the most effective way they can, and just try to find the greatest value from that. That's completely fine. If you find that a diverse array of platforms works well for you, or that maybe perhaps the parents of your students use Facebook and Instagram the most, maybe that's something that you want to ask, something that you may find interest in, because if you're going to be spending time and money on creating ads, you want to make sure that your current audience, who is very engaged and interested in the topics that you're talking about, if you're wanting to reach people like them, then you probably want to be in the space that they are already in. So doing something like a survey, or just asking that upon enrollment of the student, something like that may be a good idea too, so you know the best place to establish and create those ads. For Twitter, if you spend a lot of time on it, Twitter is a very conversational platform. It's really the one platform where you can just go back and forth in constant conversation, and in my opinion is much more text-based and easy to reply than any other platform. Within the ads with Twitter, the screenshots and the step-by-step process will look a little bit different when you're creating those ads, but they look very similar to all of the other posts on Twitter. They have that very small sponsored notation in the top left of the tweet, and they are quick and easy to read, because Twitter's a 280 or less character platform, but something that you can really engage people with. You can also use images and videos. I think it's a pretty clever form of advertising because the conversations are so brief there that you're probably not going to miss too many ads. So when you are developing those ads for Twitter, just make sure it's something that can be conversational, something that people will want to reply to. Maybe it's a question. Maybe it is you're putting out a bold statement. Maybe you're inviting your audience to attend an event that's happening. Maybe you're asking them to support the kiddos in general, but to support, you can do that by posting a specific photo or image of one of the students. So just think something that's going to immediately engage people in conversation or get them to stop and reply. For Facebook, you want to think educational. Facebook is much more of a show me platform. It's where people go to, and this may be able to be said of many of the social media platforms, but they go in short and in pun intended to have a platform to speak. So they're trying to educate people, whether it's something that they're happy, mad, sad, or glad about. And it's a good place to be able to give a little bit more information because it's commonly seen that images can come, or the videos can come with a lot of different text and content, and sometimes maybe more verbose than others. So it encompasses so much more information that you're really wanting to educate people and get them a little bit more info there than they may receive on other platforms. For Instagram, you want to think visual. That's the first thing people will see when they open up their Instagram account. I think I've done a few hundred interviews about which social media platforms people prefer to use the most, and Instagram is becoming a much more common answer than it used to be. Facebook was the top dog for quite a while, and Instagram has taken that throne because it's, while there is plenty to look at, it's much less clutter. People don't really have to read or think when they use Instagram. They're just scrolling through and looking at pictures. So you want those pictures to be able to stand out. You want them to be branded. You want them to mean something and to have an impact. You really want them to get people to read. So while we're most concerned with the visual or the image, the goal is then to make them say, well, this is a really cool image, or this is very appealing to me. What's it all about? And then they go and look at the content or text, or they may click on the post and see what's tagged in the post, if it's something that they may be more interested in. So think visually there. It's the most important element in Instagram, and will be the thing that draws people in to your ads. If you're using LinkedIn, this is I feel like a much more career-minded and professional tool. Maybe you're trying to get access to business leaders in the community, or partner up with different corporations or companies. LinkedIn is a place that you can it's more so, while you can include an image, it's much more so text-based and really trying to share a lot of information and get people connected with company and corporate more than anything else. And so for every single one of these platforms, you want to think about what's eye-catching and what is engaging. So those two things are going to be important across the board, regardless of which platform you are creating ads in. You want to find something that's fitting for each of them. You may also want to take some time to think about the key demographics that use all of these different platforms. Maybe I didn't include every single platform that there is, but Pinterest is another one. If you find value in that platform, it's essentially 99% female. Um, so if you really want to target that female demographic, Pinterest may be something that you want to look into. With YouTube, the audience is pretty expansive. However, it tends to skew younger. That's where actually many children and students are consuming media more so, I think, than any generation prior, because they can look on YouTube to learn how to do anything. So whether it's learning something about their favorite celebrity or singer, or if it's learning how to tie their shoes or how to win a particular video game, or really how to do anything. Um, I've found it very entertaining to see the types of things that my own niece and nephew consume on YouTube, and it's a spot that if you're trying to reach your student audience in a different and innovative way, YouTube is a place to look as well. And you can definitely do video ads. Their video ads are, because of the nature of the platform and that it's completely video, the video ads do well, and you're able to include those on like as a lead up to any videos that they may be watching. You can post the ads there. Um, so really, again, just making sure that it's drawing in people's eyes and is very engaging and achieves, at the end of the day, you want it to achieve whatever objective you are trying to complete. Um, so that will wrap up this slide portion of the presentation. And let me just get back to Hangout. And I will now take any questions that you all may have um, about the presentation or anything that we may not have covered yet regard to the ads. Y'all can just type those on the chat portion, and I'll answer anything and everything you want to ask about. If there aren't specific questions on um, the